We as humans are wired to learn. And so it's just about creating that opportunity. You just have to show up and be yourself. You don't have to do more than that, but show up with love and intention and be there and be present. And you can change people's lives.
In the early 90s, Shan and I co-founded a company called Conservation Corporation Africa.
We were starting lodges up the African continent, and so we decided to take the children with us, which meant we needed a teacher. Finding Kate to be that resource at that time was such a blessing.
Breaking those walls of the classroom to me was the first step of magic, I think, to really get out of being confined by the curriculum.
Kate managed to take the adventure and distill it into a learning curriculum, but a most marvelous journey of exploration for the children. That was Bronwyn and Boyd.
So what I learned from traveling with Kate throughout Africa was that everyone and everything has something to teach us.
And the most amazing thing is, in a place where it was just the three of us, suddenly out of the shrubbery, out of the bushes would come, young children, everybody just listening, and you can almost feel the engagement as people move forward towards you. And that again was another really important lesson about learning, is that, just open it and people start to come. And I think that was wonderful, and probably a beginnings of, if we open this learning center, people will come. The mission was to try and get as many young people to experience some of what we'd experienced in our travels. And so I found myself in Philippolis,
where again, there were no facilities at all. There was nothing, but there was a resource in Kate and the tribe that she built around her.
I can't explain what happened, but in that strange, dusty, middle of nowhere place, I found myself. Through the Omas who were there, Oma Nan, Oma Mita, Oma Izzy, I was accepted unconditionally.
Ons kwam 'n bietjie klomp jare saam op die pad aan. Ek en juffrou Kate. En ons het lekker saam gewerk.
That was a big turning point for me of, this is what I can do, this is what I know I'm good at, this is where I can really get stuck in. I think our first official project was building the preschool in Philippolis. It was the first time we had a mission. We fundraised for it and we did it.
Nobody knew what they were doing, but we all had the same idea that we wanted to make a difference. They didn't have a creche. The need was so big that all of us were just 100% in it and wanted to make it work.
And for young people to move into that building and start to be, the first kids to have ever been to a preschool in that space, that was amazing for me.
So the idea was born there in terms of how do we start to give educational access to multiple people.
And based on the pilot project that Kate had started in Philippolis, we then decided to put up a pilot digital learning center in our village at Londolozi. And based on African wisdom, we wanted to bring a gogo in to be the teacher because she is respected. And Kate's mother was a formal teacher. So we were able to get Kate and Kate's mother to start a digital learning center right here in the village at Londolozi, which is still here today.
And soon it became very apparent by the buses that were starting to arrive that weren't our staff who wanted to partake. Soon Gogo Mo and Kate looked at us and said, guys, we're bringing people into the game reserve. We need to start taking this out. And the Hazy View Digital Learning Center was born.
I can close my eyes and remember that day as though it was yesterday. And this was the old banana barn. It was rusted, holes in the roof. I came up to that front door and I just said to Katie, I said, education's going to happen in here.
There are all these moments, there were conversations around a fire, there were conversations around a table with Pastor Solly and Mama Sipiwe, and we all brought a little bit of a different perspective to it, and out of it emerged, not a school, not a university, but a space in the middle where everybody can access the learning. And I think formally, that's when GWF sort of really started to come into its own.
I think there's always in the story times of difficulty, times of struggle, when you are birthing something that becomes successful and sustainable.
There was a picture in my head, and we went to a lot of people to try and explain the picture in our heads. And it took a long time for someone to actually understand what we were trying to do.
In those early days, it was really hand-to-mouth stuff and challenging. You know, we had school children coming through the front door, and we had to work out how to get the latest computers and the latest iPads, and it's tough.
So plans needed to be worked constantly to keep us going month by month by month. But that's where grit, determination, and passion come in.
You know, some people have to believe something to see it, and others have to see it to believe it. And I think the GWF team is definitely, they believe it, and then suddenly, there it is.
For me, when I realized, I think we've got something, was when we managed to do the first satellite. When Justitia Digital Learning Campus really opened, and I was like, okay, we've done it twice. There's no reason we can't do this 50 times.
The concept of a campus and satellites, which now exists, is an extremely powerful model.
10 years ago, we gathered under the tree where we'll gather again, and we set an intention to create a space where anyone who wanted to learn could come through those doors, and excellence and learning and opportunity would be there. It was an intention to shift from chance to choice. The chance of being born in a place where you get access to things, to I'm choosing to learn, it's there, I can do it.
Every time you go into the classroom, you put yourself in their shoes because you were once there. Once they leave and then they come back to us and say, you have impacted my life, I see that there's a difference. You took me from point A to point B.
Once you go there, you come back, you are never the same.
For me, it's so overwhelming sometimes, because when you wear a pink t-shirt, everybody knows this is the people that we can go to, because there was something that you did that helps people and brighten their future for them.
Learning should not be stopped by where you come from, and I think Good Work Foundation can bring that access to all people in rural communities.
There has to be an idea around leadership, around emotional growth, and the ability for a human being to dream about a possibility of a future.
GWF, it really is a family. If you come here, you are nurtured, because a mother's mission is to let you reach your full potential, is to make you feel safe and give you everything so that you can become who you're meant to be. And that's what we do on every campus.
We all know that it's people who make the magic.
I hope we can keep doing good work. I hope we can keep being guided by the communities that we find ourselves and the places we find ourselves. As our young learners start to come through, what do we do when they reach the bridging year age? Like what can this place become? I think for me, if we can just keep doing good work and keep staying relevant and keep listening to what people are asking us to provide.
And eventually the Good Work Foundation becomes a norm in Africa that cycles and breathes life into a new generation for the country.